Welcome back to Northwest City Politics in the Know with Juanita. We're so glad that you're joining us again this week. We're always happy for people like you, people that are interested in what's happening in our cities. Because it is important for good government that there be a good exchange of ideas between citizens, between mayors, between council people, between staff. It's important, so we're glad that you are interested in the city's issues. If you haven't watched our show before, each week we'll have somebody on from one of the 9 cities in CCX's viewing area who will fill us in on what are the current and up-and-coming topics and issues for that particular city. So we're going to have Golden Valley tonight, so if you're from Golden Valley, we ask you to take down the phone number and the email, and if an issue that we cover tonight resonates with you, be sure to be in contact. We're very happy to have as a guest Larry Fonnest, who's on the City Council, has been for a little while now.
Juanita, thanks for the invitation. It's good to be back on the show.
Right. And I asked you ahead of time if you would introduce yourself out to our wider audience. Give them a little background information about yourself.
Sure, happy to do it. I'm a resident of Golden Valley, have been for 21 years, and really enjoy the city. It's a great place and has a lot of wonderful amenities. I'm a retired businessman, having sold my business back in 2014. So being on City Council has become something of a full-time job.
Right. You have the time for it, right?
I do, and I enjoy it. I think we're doing a lot of good work for the city of Golden Valley. So yes, that's about it.
And then how long have you lived in Golden Valley?
21 years.
That's a good long time. You've got a good history with the city.
Indeed.
And seen a lot of changes come along the way.
Yes, indeed. And before joining the City Council, I served on the Board of Zoning Appeals. So got my feet wet there and decided to step up and take on the City Council role.
Now, we talked about a number of issues ahead of time, but let's start out with development. A lot of our cities are doing development and redevelopment, depending on whether they have any open land and whether they're putting lands and stuff together. And so I thought we could touch base a little bit with a number of projects that are currently ongoing. One of them is Central Park West. They're putting in a Marriott hotel. Now, where is that located?
That's located at the intersection of Highway 394, and 100. And it's on the southwest side of the freeway. And it's a shared property, if you will, or a shared jurisdiction with the city of St. Louis Park.
So that's unusual.
It is unusual. The city of Golden Valley has a small strip of land in that corridor, but the bulk of the building site is in the city of St. Louis Park.
And then what's the size of that project going to be, the number of units that will be in it?
Well, in terms of the Marriott Hotel, we're looking at 126 rooms.
Well, that's pretty good size.
It will be. And it won't be a full facility, as you might expect with a Marriott. There won't be a pool or necessarily a restaurant. It's more of a place to sleep for the evening, and then folks will go over to the West End or over to the Golden Valley side to find their entertainment and recreation.
Right.
Yes.
Then that Central Park area, the same area we just talked about, also has a residential phase that's going into it.
That's correct.
So tell us about that part of the redevelopment.
Right. Well, there will be a unit, a building opening this fall, 2017, 199 apartment units. And the interesting thing about this building is that part of the building footprint falls in Golden Valley, and part of it falls, a large part of it falls in St. Louis Park. So there'll be actually 80 units in Golden Valley. And we've joked on the City Council, you know, how how are residents going to know which city they're living in?
Right.
So I've suggested that we have gold carpet.
Identify it
Exactly.
visually, right? You'll know where you're at.
Exactly. So it's a bit of an unusual situation, but there will be both market rate apartments and some affordable apartments in this building complex.
Oh, that's a good plus for your city.
Exactly. And so we're looking forward to that opening again this fall. And then there'll also be a large 11-story office tower that will eventually be built in phase 2 of this construction, along with a large parking ramp adjacent to Highway 100. And the ramp itself falls within the boundaries of Golden Valley. And when this is all said and done, it will be a real beautiful addition to that corner of our city and St. Louis Park.
Yeah, both of them. What's the anticipated completion date?
Well, on the hotel, it's 2018.
Okay.
The apartment building, the first apartment building, there will be a second one, will be this fall. And then the office tower will start probably next year and finish up in 2019.
Yeah, those are long-term projects when you get something that big going.
Exactly, exactly.
Now you have another apartment complex called Hello.
Yes.
If people are driving down 55, they might have seen the sign, right?
That is correct.
Hello, what is that? Tell us about it.
Certainly. Well, the developer came up with the name.
Okay.
As you know, the building itself sits at the corner of 169 and Highway 55.
Right.
And they saw that as a gateway into the city of Golden Valley, so they wanted to shout it out and say hello. The building itself was built with millennials in mind. And some folks have commented on the colors, grays and a bright orange.
Oh, right.
But that appeals to that age group. And the amenities in the building appeal to them as well. There is a swimming pool, a large patio area, lounges, and so forth. So it's a building that is filled, as far as I know.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And is off to a very good start. And there are 172 units total in that building.
That's a good size.
Yep, that's a good size. And yeah, we're very happy to have them in town.
You've increased the population of your city, right?
That's right. As I mentioned to you earlier, in the last 4 years, with the addition of the buildings we're talking of here tonight, and those that were built previously and are up and running, we've added about 1,600 housing units in the last 4 years.
Right.
So we're seeing a surge in our population and in our tax base.
Which is important, right?
Which is important, you
Very
bet.
important. And then you have some, another complex called Talo, T-A-L-O apartments.
Yes.
Where is that located?
That's located, again, at the intersection of 100 and 394 on the northwest side. And it's the building that's currently under construction. And this is going to be a very interesting building. It has 303 units in it.
Ooh, good size.
Very good size. And the developer is planning on marketing to seniors and to millennials, and provide and bring the generations together. And there will be amenities in the building then that appeal to both age groups. So it'll be a very intergenerational setting, and one that I think is going to be very popular. We're expecting the construction to be finished in 2018. And when that is completed, we're looking at another building adjacent to it, which will have 125 units, and that will be for seniors, assisted living, and memory care. And so
there's a need for that, for sure.
There is very much a need for that. We in Golden Valley have a population, a senior population that is wanting to age in place, and stay in their home, or
Right.
if not in their home, then at least stay in their community.
Right.
And so a number of senior housing units, independent living, assisted living, and memory care either have been built, are being built, or will be built.
Well, and there's that whole thing of life cycle housing. So
Exactly.
if people like the community, they don't have to move away. They can change the style of house.
Exactly. Yep. So yes, to your point, we're trying to provide a continuum so folks can stay in
Right.
Golden Valley.
Right. And then there's Liberty. I think that's at Medicine Lake Road in Winnetka, right?
That's correct.
And that's a development people can see going up before their eyes, right?
That's right. It will be completed this year, and they've already rented out their first townhouse.
Wow.
So they are off to the races, so to speak. There are 187 apartment units, and there are 55 townhomes. And this has been a joint project, if you will, between the city and the developer. A joint project in the sense that the city built a holding chamber for water.
Oh, right, right.
And this chamber is actually underground, not visible to the naked eye, but it can hold up to 10 acre-feet of water. And as you probably know, the intersection at Winnetka and Medicine Lake Road is prone to flooding.
Oh, most definitely.
Right, and it makes it difficult not only for commuters, but for our emergency vehicles to get through in such situations. So this chamber was built to draw off some of that water, hold it, and then over time release it into the Decola Ponds area, but in such a way that we aren't flooding people downstream.
You can do it more slowly and...
Exactly. So this has been a real plus for the city of Golden Valley. It's some great housing coming to town, plus meeting some other needs of the community.
Well, and that's been a long, ongoing problem. Now, both Crystal and New Hope and Golden Valley are all working together on that one.
That is correct.
I mean, it's the kind of problem where one city alone can't solve it, right?
That's correct. Yep. And we're also looking to our legislative delegation to assist, because it's a very costly endeavor. But we're hopeful that this flooding issue will be dealt with and won't be a problem in the future.
Planning for the future.
Absolutely.
Now, another kind of construction that's happening is road construction. And there's a big project going on Douglas Drive. And I thought maybe we could start with a little bit about the past history, about how this project was selected and who's involved in it.
Of course. Well, this actually predates my time on the city council. It's a joint effort between the City of Golden Valley and Hennepin County. It is a Hennepin County highway, and so they are the lead agency on the development of that roadway. As your viewers are probably more aware of than some, this has been a 2-year project.
Oh, right.
And I apologize to some of our citizens who have been frustrated with the pace, but this project, when finished, will really bring a new era to that length of road. We're looking at development and redevelopment along the stretch. It's going to have multimodal transportation in terms of sidewalks on both sides of the street, as well as bike lanes on both sides. We're putting all of the utilities underground. And we're also adding additional fiber optics to be in a ready position
at the same time
for future businesses along the corridor. In addition to that, we're looking at improved traffic flow. You may have heard about the roundabouts.
Right.
Yes.
I've driven them.
Okay, and that approach is meant to keep traffic moving and not have backups on the roadway.
Right.
And then finally, we're going to be putting in enhanced landscaping along the full length, and that'll occur in the spring of 2018.
That'll be the completion of it, right?
The completion of it, exactly. So this project is going to mean a great deal to the future development of that stretch of our city.
And the Douglas Drive had part of it worked on this summer and part of it will be next year? Maybe
Actually, we are going to be finishing up all of the major road work, and the road will be open by November of this year.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, and so there'll be some slight construction at the intersection of 55 and Douglas next summer. We'll be doing the landscaping and finishing that up, and then just a few odds and ends along the length of the road. But it should be open and free-flowing this November.
Yeah, it seems like, no, it's probably always that way, but everywhere you look, orange barrels, right, this year.
Isn't that the truth?
This year. Now, Golden Valley has Brookview Community Center, and it's kind of a long, ongoing part of your city. Maybe you can share the history that led up to the community center's replacement.
The community center itself, at least its foundation, would have turned 100 years old in 2020.
Right, right.
And for those citizens who haven't been in the building lately or down in the basement area, there are literally tree trunks, 3 of them, that were incorporated into the building to hold the superstructure up. And for a person of my height, I'm about 6'4",
right.
You literally have to duck to get through there.
Right, right.
The building was not up to code. It wasn't even up to city code. We were not up to the American with Disability Act codes, and on and on. And the city council took a hard look at what it would take to bring that facility up to code,
right,
and to make it useful going forward into the future. And as the number crunching went on, we realized that to rehab the building was going to cost somewhere between $9 and $12 million.
Ooh, that's expensive. Just a rehab. Right?
Just a rehab. And it still would not have met our needs as a growing city. And so the council decided eventually that we would build a new building. The total cost is approximately $18.2 million. But the facility itself is going to meet not only our current needs, but the needs of the city going well into the future.
And what are some of the new uses that will come into that building?
Well, for instance, we have added a new full-service restaurant. It's called the 316 Grill and Bar. And they'll have a wide selection of foods and beverages for folks to enjoy. There's going to be a children's play area that will be open year-round. It has a 2.5-story indoor play area that the kids can climb, slide, crawl through, and have just a lot of fun. There also will be 3 party rooms for the children for birthdays and other celebrations. So families can reserve those and then use the play facilities with the children. We're also going to have banquet facilities for up to 250 people, and full service kitchen to service that function. We're going to have enhanced senior programming. The facility or the rooms that we had for our seniors were totally inadequate, and now we have developed rooms that meet senior needs, and they have their own patio for the summer months, and it'll be just a wonderful experience for that age group as well. The City Hall and the New Brookview are going to be hosting art shows going forward. As part of the New Brookview, we put in art railing in the main portion of the building, and we'll be focusing on local artists.
Good idea.
And it'll be everything from paintings to sculpture to ceramics. So it'll be a fun place to come and visit, spend some time, have a little lunch, and hang out. So all in all, we think this is going to be a wonderful addition to our city. Of course, it should be mentioned too that we're going to have a state-of-the-art pro shop and locker rooms for our golf patrons. And I think everyone is going to find it a very useful and well-used facility.
Well, and there was some areas dealing with the golf course that had to be not used as much, but after the completion, they'll go back into. Maybe you can talk about it more than me.
Just briefly, I'm myself not a golfer, but our par 3 is going to be fully operational. The golf course itself is ready for our next season, and the range, the practice range, is up and running, and a new parking lot has been put in. We've added parking for the larger facility as well. So the golf course itself should be in good shape, very good shape.
Right. And that's a good amenity for a community, right?
Absolutely. And Golden Valley is lucky, given its location. It's a very popular golf course.
Oh, right.
And our patron counts keep growing. So again, this was a much needed facility to continue to be competitive in the golf industry. I should mention too that the lawn bowling area next to what is now the old Brookview will be moved closer to the new building once the old building comes down. And the lawn bowling should be back and operational by summer of 18. And the old building is coming down on October 9th
so
at AM.
Very close,
very close. This coming Monday. And we're anxious to see it go.
Moving forward.
Exactly, moving forward.
Now this doesn't especially hit with the playgrounds, except that Schaefer Park has a segment, but there's a Green Step Cities program that Golden Valley is a part of. Maybe you can talk about what that program is. And then isn't there a portion of the park that is left green?
Oh yes,
for want of a better way.
there is a lot of green in Schaefer Park. And there is a trail that I might mention too that Three Rivers and Golden Valley have developed that comes into the park. We have baseball diamonds there and some other open space. But more to the point, the Green Step Cities program initiated with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. And it includes 29 best practices for being a conservation-minded city. Golden Valley was the 105th city to join Green Steps, and we are currently at step 2. We've got a ways to go, but we're quickly achieving step 3, and we should have step 4 completed sometime in 2018. And it covers 5 topic areas: buildings and lighting, land use, transportation, environmental management, and economic and community development. And it's all with a focus on doing things that are conserving energy and moving the city and the economy of the city forward. So as a couple of examples, the new Brookview is a LEED eligible building, which means that it's at the silver level, which is the second from the top level in the LEED program. And I'm sorry, I can't recall what LEED, the acronym, stands for,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it has to do with energy efficiency.
Right, right.
And the new Brookview is going to be very energy efficient. And we also then, as a second example, are adding LED lighting to our city streets.
Oh.
And so this will use less energy and provide longer lasting bulbs into the future. So these are just two steps that we've taken among many to make Golden Valley a more energy efficient and environmentally responsible city.
Yeah, there are a lot of concerns about that issue amongst people today.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's kind of an issue that draws people two different directions, but there is a lot of concern.
Golden Valley is lucky to have a very dedicated group of volunteer citizens who sit on our environmental commission, and they are helping to spearhead the Green Cities effort along with several other initiatives. And so we're making great strides.
City Hall has some document retention on information regarding individual homes. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what the city currently does in that regard.
Right. Up until recently, all of the property records for the city of Golden Valley were maintained in paper form.
Okay.
And it was becoming a paper chase.
Right.
For anyone who's purchased a home, you know of what I speak. There's a lot of paperwork. And so the city is currently digitizing and categorizing these different property documents, and they will be stored both at City Hall with backups at Logis, which is our technical support organization. This is going to provide for better organization and preservation of these records, and it will allow folks to access the documents at City Hall, and eventually we will have the capability that you will be able to access your documents or other documents regarding properties either at your home computer or your business computer. So this will help citizens and realtors and others dealing in the housing industry to better manage these records. And it also will improve service delivery because it'll be transparent and immediately available.
Right, and that's been a concern amongst a lot of cities, is that information is available to citizens. Sometimes it isn't, sometimes it's a little harder to get.
That's true, and the city of Golden Valley is working very, very diligently to make sure that we are as transparent as possible so that citizens understand how their government functions, what their government is doing, and how they can access their government and the people that represent them.
Right. Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your ideas and experience and time with our audience out there, and we'll encourage you to tune in next week for part 2 on Golden Valley issues. We're glad that you've been with us, and we encourage you to come back again. Bye.